Here is part 2 of Wednesday's Q&A. So let's see what we got left on this right now. I'm Tom Kovichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And yesterday's Q&A ran a little bit longer than I expected, so here's the other half of it that I did on the same day, but I'm putting it on the day after. Huh? Okay, but anyway, if you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, ding that bell, and that'll notify you whenever I have a new video coming out. And check out my playlists. I have a lot of videos in there, over 40 playlists of content about model railroading, so check that out right down below, right here. So let's get going with this right now. Tito D'Alessandro wrote in, Tom, can you teach us about the new LMWI wireless system? From what I've seen so far, it's the cat's meow. Thanks, Tom. And I will be very busy on my multi-track table layout. Lionel, HO, slot car, HO train. The LMWI is, now from what I know so far, Digitrax made a interface to replace the PR3 so you can connect to Wi-Fi and use your tablet or cell phone as a throttle. Now, the way we do it now, I have to hook this up to a router and to JMRI and go through and use, let me see if I could find it on here, engine driver, which is this right here, where you could use this as a throttle to operate your DCC system. Now, Digitrax made a system, and I think ESU made a system too, but you have to buy the whole system. It's over $300, and right now it's back ordered. I'll have a couple of graphics up here, one for Digitrax and one for ESU, you know, giving you a little idea about it. But basically, it's an easy way to interface your DCC with your smartphone or tablet. So I may be doing a video on it sometime later on. I already did a video on how to hook up this with the PR3 and JMRI. I think I did a couple of videos on it so far. But anyway, when I could afford to get me one of those units right there, I'll do a video on that. I think it's about a little bit under 80 bucks to get one. So one of these days I'll do a video on that, Tito. But in the meantime, it looks like it's a pretty good system. And if you want to find out how to do it with the PR3, I have a video on that already that I did 6 months ago. And I did earlier one. I didn't go into too much detail, but I did that almost, probably a year and a half ago. So go check those two videos out. I'll put some links down in the description for you. But anyway, you can use... Okay, I'll show you what it looks like on here. Engine driver. That one right there. Engine driver. If you can see that. Yep. There you go. All right. So there you go. Wimal. Okay, I'm just going to spell this. VIMALJKS. All right. Hi, how can stop the pops and clicks when using the switch? I can hear it in the speakers when I do on off. Okay, he's talking about the double pull, double throw switch video that I did. Now, if you run your wires, if you run your control wires alongside your speaker wires and bundle them all together, you're going to get clicks because you get interference because there's electromagnetic forces that go around the wires. And if you're turning things on and off, you're going, and you got your speaker wires there, you're going to hear that change in power and no power on them. So you have to move them away. You don't have to move them very far away, but don't bundle them up with your other wires on your railroad. Will King writes in, good intro. I want to have a sound activated board so when guys walk up to my steel mill, it will play canned sounds. Don't know what shields to get. Have a board, a breadboard. Just trying to figure out what other shields I need. Now, he's talking about when I did the introduction to Arduino. Now, there are systems out there, and I think can't remember what it is right now, but the cheapest that you can get is about $35. But with an Arduino, they make little MP3 players. They make little amplifiers. But if you go with the generic brands, you could probably do the sound on it for about $25. Now, I mean, that's a little bit cheaper than that, but let me restate that. If you use a nano, you could get these nanos really cheap for maybe, or even the mini pros for about, if you look hard enough, you could probably get them for about $1. So that'll bring down the price. And you could get the shields for the SD card to hold your sounds and a shield for the amplifier where you could hook up some speakers to it. And I may do a video on that sometime, but not in the near future because we're just doing the easy stuff right now. Edward Sargent wrote in, and this is when I did the backdrop on air. Hobby Lobby sells a foam board with a sticky side. I use it to mount pictures without frames. That is a good idea. The only thing different that you would have to do that I did was when I used the whole board and I put the pictures on there. I put the glue on the pictures and then mounted the pictures on the board. The only thing you'd have to do is, like I did, cut out the pictures. But then you'd have to cut out the piece of the board. I imagine there's like a little piece of paper on top of it that stops you from touching the adhesive surface on there. So you'd have to cut it to about the same size as the backdrop or the background and rip off that paper and then mount it on there like that. That's the only thing you would have to do different on it. But that's a good idea. But last time I was in Hobby Lobby, I was looking for it because I got another one. The one I was looking for, the instant buildings were the background buildings. And I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. But I was looking for the one with the adhesive backing. So I just got the same kind that I did the last time. Alzir Cactus writes in, which software are you using to present the schematic of your project with the breadboard? I am using Fritzing, and it is a free software. You can go to fritzing.org and you can make little diagrams of your breadboard. You could also tab over and you'll have a wiring diagram that you have to place because it's still in beta. It's been around for a long time, but it's still in beta. Of course, it's a free software, so that's why they're slow at processing it. But you'll have all the components on there. You just have to arrange it in the wiring diagram. And the same thing, you tab over another one, and you can set it up on a circuit board. And I said in one of my videos that I'll be doing a video on that explaining how to use it in the future. Okay, Farmer Dave said, Wago lever nuts. Nuff said. Okay. Wago, that was in my connector video. And Wago nuts, lever nuts, they're good. They're something like those little orange ones where you just push them in there, but they have levers on there where you can loosen them and then stick the wire in and then tighten it back down. The only problem with that is the cheapest that I found them was $14 for 50 of them, which is a lot higher than what those other ones cost. I think I got about 50 of them for about $5. But anyway, I think Miles Hale did a video right after I did the connector video, and he mentioned the Wago nuts on there, and he found them on eBay a little bit cheaper. I think I looked it up and found them cheaper on eBay, but if you look on Amazon, I think they were about $14, $15 for 50 of them. Okay, Francis47 said, "Dear Tom, your suggestions are good, but being French, our trains run on the left, so U.S. plans are difficult to adapt. I do have the book you mentioned. Any suggestion on how to adapt? Thanks." Well, my suggestion to him was use a mirror image of the track plan, but he said, "I appreciate your quick answer. Thank you. Tried it, but it doesn't work." So if anybody else here has a suggestion on how to adapt the U.S. track plans for European models, then write it in the comments either on this one here or on the video that I did on the track plans, and I'll put the link in the description of there. Okay. John the Train Man, doing a great job of explaining the code. I really like you actually keying in the code. My question is, when you put the setup on under the layout, do you continue to use breadboard or do you use something else? If something else, will you be doing a video on that process? Well, John the Train Man, I did a video on a breadboard. It wasn't on an Arduino project, but it was on a project that I did before the Arduino where I had the just plugs. I had 3 of them set up on the breadboard here. I still have some of the components on there, but I don't have everything on there. But what I did was I put it on a circuit board. Now this circuit board is made by SparkFun, and it's identical layout to the mini breadboards, and even you even have the connectivity on the holes on here like you do on a breadboard. Now I did a video on that showing you how to do that. Now you can leave it on the breadboard, but there's always the possibility of the stuff falling off, but you can put it on a circuit board. Now, they make other circuit boards too. I have a double-sided PC board kit that comes in different sizes that you could also do on that. I think I showed that on one of my videos where I was testing out a few things on there, just soldering some stuff on there and to see how it works. But I like the one from SparkFun because you already have the traces. You can't see them on there because they're so small, but they have the traces between the holes here, just like on the breadboard. So you don't have to do any soldering between the holes going in this direction. Now you do, now it's the same, you have the gap there in the center, but here's one that I did, and I may do one that, you know, you could have circuit boards made. There are a lot of companies out there that will do it, and you used to be able to get Eagle software for free. All the hobbyists use it to design their circuit boards from a breadboard design, but now you have to pay for it. But there are other companies where you could have your circuit boards made very cheaply. And Fritzing is one software that you could use to design your circuit board. There are other ones out there. That's it. I think I had 14 of them on there this time. But anyway, that's it for today. Those are some questions, some statements, some suggestions on there. So don't forget to look for Arduino Made Easier on Saturday. That's coming up this Saturday, and we're going to be doing potentiometers. I'm using a different kind of potentiometer, but if you have this kind right here, it's still the same thing. It's 3 leads. It's a 10K potentiometer. Check that out on Saturday, and we'll see ya. And I can't go nowhere here.